What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Manny here. Welcome back to the channel. Good afternoon. Good rainy afternoon, actually. Quite cozy in here down in Styria. It's a rainy afternoon, as I said. It's good for the land because it hasn't rained for weeks, actually, and everything is super dry down here. So yeah, the rain can really use, the land can really use this moisture. That's good. So anyway, I just wanted to sit down a little bit, make another personal video. You know, I'm so into the personal content lately. It's amazing. Anyway, I just wanted to talk about this finger injury that I talked about in my recent Slovenia video. A couple of people have been asking about it. And maybe I can also, prevent the one or the other finger injury out there from occurring by sharing my story. But anyway, I slightly injured, I would say, my right index finger. And the way how it happened was simply that I pinched a pinch. I pinched a pinch pretty hardcore. Was kind of the last move of a 8B project of mine. And yeah, I was pinching this last pinch with my right hand, grabbing it. And, before that, you kind of have this undercling rest, and you shake out, and then it's the last, cruxy boulder, so to say, to the top, and you've got quite a couple of climbing meters in already. It's kind of endurance-y. And it's this pumpy situation where you're coming out of a rest relatively fresh because you've shaked out quite a bit, but you had only jogs in your hand, and your hands are kind of used to jogs, and then you've got instantly a quite shitty crux hold. And these are always interesting situations, Anyway, I'm grabbing this crux hold coming out of the rest, and I have the feeling, we've got good grip here. It's enough, It's gonna be enough power to pull this move through now. Getting the hand on this pinch, positioning my feet, intermediate hold, and then starting to lock this thing off. I kind of had good grip, so I thought, I give it a little bit of extra power. Giving it, because I didn't want to slip off. It's one of these kind of greasy, slopey pinches. And, very last move, and it would be really annoying to fall off. And I said to myself, let's give it some extra power here. I'm pinching it really hard, starting to let go of my intermediate hand to move further, and all of a sudden, like in between my middle finger and my index finger, somewhere down there, I'm gonna try to show you a close-up later on so that you can see, so that you can assess the situation anatomically, so to say. But somewhere down there, something snapped, and it started instantly to hurt, I kept grabbing the pinch, because I was in the adrenaline rush, and I pinched it, keep pinching it, took the next crux hold, which is actually a pretty bad edge, crimped that one, took the next hold, which is kind of this three finger open pocket, luckily, which I could still take, took that one with my right hand again, and then you've got actually the finishing jog. So then it was instantly over. Clipping the anchor and, checking everything out, whether it's, what's going wrong and stuff like that, whether it hurts. And I figured out quite quickly that it swelled a little bit, and moving it around did hurt a little bit, and grabbing things hurt a little bit. So I thought instantly, okay, that was probably the last route for me on this day. Luckily, I sent this project at least, and finished it off. So yeah, that's one positive thing, I guess. But anyway, so yeah, that's how it happened actually. So a little bit of the pre-story, I think, why this is actually the first injury of mine where something snapped, so to say, something all of a sudden snapped. So far, I only had, these slowly developing overstraining issues because, you get a little bit stronger, you crimp all those things a little bit harder. And as we know, the tendons and the joints and stuff like that, they lag behind quite a bit of time, the muscular development. So when we get stronger, it actually takes these structures some time to adapt to this new strength, and that's always when the risk of injury is highest, so to say. You just got stronger, and you're going really hard on these structures with your new strength, essentially. And what additionally happened to me, I think, is that I also got a little bit heavier in the last couple of months, and I've talked about this repeatedly on the channel. I'm now constantly in between 66 and 67 kilograms in the morning, at the lightest point of the day, so to say. And for some of you, maybe you might remember the Mission 8B, for example, where after my, fasting time, I was at 60.5 or something. And then back on the crag, when I refed and stuff, I was at 61.5 or something. That's where I pulled through this 8B project. So this is like almost 6 kilograms lighter, and in the climbing world, for my body weight, this is 10%. In the climbing world, we know that this is another world, man. This is another world. So, however, I didn't really feel a lot weaker despite that, on rock. I checked out this 8C project, for example, on which I felt really good and which I hoped to get done actually this spring still, because I felt really good. I had all the moves down, which now is going to be a little bit of a, a rather huge question mark because of this injury, and there are some quite tiny crimps in that. So unless this is something that all of a sudden disappears because it just was, a minor thing and it just need to reposition or something, and then all of a sudden the pain is gone. Unless it is something like that, this is going to take a little bit longer probably. It could be some weeks, could be months, but could also be half a year or something. I already know these things. They take quite some time. So yeah, probably this project is gone for now, which is a bit unfortunate because I felt really good on it. But yeah, what are you gonna do? I got a bit stronger, I got a bit heavier, and this is the perfect recipe for something like this to happen, I guess. I already talked about another finger actually, which I felt a little bit from this crux pinch on this 8C Plus project, for this one nothing happened, interestingly. This is still just a little bit overstrained, and I didn't feel anything in this finger before, and this one, almost snapped instantly, almost snapped. It snapped a little bit, I heard something pop inside. So it was kind of you couldn't foresee this, you couldn't see this one coming. So I just pinched as hard as I could, no pains whatsoever in that hand before, and all of a sudden it snapped. So yeah, that's how it goes apparently sometimes. Anyway, I guess I show you the close-up now from the fingers and Alright, so here's a little close-up of my fingers. As you can see, these are my two index fingers, and the right one is clearly a little bit thicker than the left one, this guy here. And this is also the injured one. As you can see, it's a little bit thicker down here. The little snap occurred somewhere in between those two fingers, that's how I localized it instantly, simply from the noise and from the instant pain and stuff. But interestingly, when I take something like this, when I take it like, half crimp style, it doesn't really hurt down there, but it hurts up here even, at the side of my joint. So from this, you could actually assume that something in this joint is hurt, but or got, a little bit destroyed or something. But I know from a fact that the destruction itself happened down here. So this goes to show really that, the pain indications of where the injury is localized is not 100% relevant all the time, when it comes to the hand, because the anatomy of the hand is quite complex and there are a lot of tiny little nerves running through, tendons and stuff like that. And if these tendons, move a little bit, then it hurts somewhere else, then there is the actual injury and all that kind of stuff, So yeah, but as you can see, I have the full range of motion. I have no bowstringing or anything, but you can see it also from this perspective. I think that it's quite a bit thicker here on the right side, and on the left side I can do all this, these movements. I can do the full down, full upwards, and anything like that. So yeah, nothing major anyway, but yeah, a little bit of a snap, so we gotta take it easy a little bit. Alright, so now that I talked a bit about how things happened and what things are looking like, I would like to discuss finally how I will try to heal this stuff, how I will try to cure it. Now, as I've said previously, I'm not a big fan of taping, and I will not tape this one again. I never taped a finger for internal issues. I only tape if I have something like a split, some kind of skin issue on the surface. That's when I tape. I've talked about this in my previous, finger injury prevention and treatment videos. Kind of good videos if you want to check them out. I'll link them somewhere here. But anyway, how am I gonna treat this stuff? I won't tape it. What I'm rather gonna do is I'm going to always, keep it activated, stretch a little bit here and there, you know, move my fingers around, play a lot with the guitar, you know. I figured this is really a nice exercise, you know, a nice coordinative exercise for the fingers as well. And keep on climbing easy routes, you know. I already had this finger injury during the recent Slovenia trip, and I still could send 8A, and I still could onsite 7C. So this is, you know, it's not a major thing that is totally disabling me from climbing or anything. It just hurts a bit when I take something, you know, in the half crimp mode, and I totally can't take something in full crimp mode, I guess. Although now I'm testing it out. No, it doesn't hurt that bad. It isn't even that strong. And when I'm warmed up a bit, it's getting actually better, as it usually does. You know, with these kind of injuries, when you warm up, usually they become better. But anyway, obviously I don't want to overdo it, so there won't be any super hard stuff in the near future, probably. But yeah, I'm also satisfied, you know, with being able to climb 8As and, you know, on-sighting 7Cs and stuff like that. Maybe we also get a little bit of multi-pitch action done in the near future, actually, with Thorsten. That would be kind of amazing if I could document that, but yeah, gonna need some action cams for that. That's something that I actually have to check out still as well. So anyway, I will not tape, I will climb easy routes, and I also will, you know, incorporate a lot of rest days. I won't climb in, like, say, 2 consecutive days now, because I have the feeling that after a climbing day where I did a lot of moves, you know, when I make a lot of moves, although it's been a lot of easy moves, this finger still swells a little bit, you know, in the evening then, which is only logical because, you know, the climbing itself, the movement creates some lactic acid. This is a little bit inflammatory, and since I have this, you know, a little bit inflamed area now in my hand, this is obviously going to respond to this stimulus a little bit, and it's gonna swell up in the evening if I do a lot of stuff during the day. However, if I incorporate a lot of rest days, you know, maybe even sometimes 2 rest days in a row, then it should be actually no problem to keep the inflammation down, and, you know, a little bit of fasting maybe here and there, you know, to keep the inflammation down even further. And, you know, with this kind of repetitive cycle, I should actually be able to take care of this thing, I would guess. Yeah, so much about the finger injury. I just wanted to update you on that stuff. I guess I wish you a nice evening. Take care of your fingers, you know, they are quite important for climbing. And yeah, take care, especially if you got a little bit heavier and not really a lot weaker or stuff like that. You know, this seems to be a perfect recipe for these things to happen. Anyway, stay strong. I'll see you soon in the next one. I just wanted to show you that it's finally raining again. And that I wanted to tell you that the country really needs the rain because everything is so dried out. And now it just stopped. So I can't really show you anything apart from my beautiful view here. Oh, now it's coming back. Now it's coming back. Come on, little rain. Show me some love. Now you can hear it a little bit maybe. Beautiful, we're getting some rain here. On this baby. Look at that. Yeah. That's what I want to hear. That's what I want to hear, baby.